All right, y'all. So we are back to discuss Married to Medicine, and we're on episode 5, Resurrection Rejection, or as I would like to call it, She Has Risen. And by she, I don't mean Sheree. I'm talking about Quad. Okay. So, Sky Squad, we are back in the building, baby, and we got to talk about Married to Medicine. Full disclosure, you guys, I got to tell you, when I have to do back-to-back reviews, it is literally like the hardest day that you can imagine. It's like giving two performances back to back. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, for me, doing a recap and a review, like I got to give you my energy, baby. I got to give it all to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to give you the feeling how I felt when I was watching the episode. And sometimes that takes a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? So, we're gonna try to keep this same good old energy going. Now, let's get into our rating for the episode on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, let me see. What are we rating this episode right here on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to tell you that I'm going to give it a 9. Let me tell you why I'm going to give it a 9. I appreciate the theatrics of this episode. And, at first I was kind of like, I do feel like sometimes watching Real Housewives of Potomac can be traumatizing for the audience and sometimes for me. And so watching Married to Medicine often feels like, whew, like a little bit of a relief. You know what I'm saying? Because there's comedy involved, especially with the inclusion of Phaedra. Having said that, this moment with Phaedra and Quad in the funeral home, I felt like it would have been even more epic had it never been advertised. Like I know that it's so good that you kind of almost want to advertise it, but I just feel like I almost wish that they had advertised it a little bit less. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, we knew it was going to be Quad. I don't now when here's the thing. I almost want to give it a 10 just for the fact that a cast member got into a casket and allowed themselves to be wheeled down the aisle in the funeral home. And then when the casket opened, Phaedra acted as though she was viewing a body, and then up pops Quad with the whole soliloquy. I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.9. Okay, let's do that because of the commitment to the gag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I don't know that I would be willing to get into a casket, okay, and be wheeled down the aisle, okay, as though we were really at the homegoing ceremony. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I don't know if I can get up into that casket for that. And then have the casket close on you. I don't know about it. I don't know about it. But I did enjoy it. And again, it's the commitment to the theatrics that I felt like were just amazing television to watch and fun to watch because you knew what was coming and you knew what was going to go on. But to see it all unfold was still fun. So for me, I guess if I did not know it was coming, it would have been even better. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those kind of instances where you got to really, it's a toss up about whether or not you advertise that in for the show or for a new episode. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below, as well as what your rating would be. Um, let's get into the episode. Let's dive right in. I mean, Phaedra and her Bob, they stopped by Quad's mansion. We learned that Heavenly is going to be coming over as well, and Quad has some mixed feelings about it because she still feels a certain type of way about Dr. Heavenly sending her that photograph with her and Sweet Tea from, I guess, a couple of weeks back or whatever like that. Um, the other interesting thing about this is that Quad is not quite letting up on Sweet Tea. Now, a lot of these comments about Sweet Tea are coming from Quad in her confessional. So, what I wonder is if, because they're in the confessional, she's maybe heard some things that maybe Sweet Tea has said about her in the marriage to, Dr. G. Um, if some of the comments that she's making back about Sweet Tea are coming after maybe she's heard some things that maybe Sweet Tea has said about her. Because in this, she says she's imitating Sweet Tea in the confessional, and then she talks about Sweet Tea's alleged big teeth. Now, I did not say, let me be clear, okay? Because, it ain't that many interviews that I like to do, but, you know, Sweet Tea was one that I felt like we need to talk to her, right? Now I know I ain't gonna get no interview. But anyway, but that's what Quad said. She said it was she talking about the girl teeth. So anyway, mind you, I like Sweet Tea. I really do. I think she's just great television. Anyway, Phaedra says to Dr. Heavenly when she comes in the door, "You did all right today. Yes, okay. I see what you tried to do there. You did okay for yourself, lady." And so I'm like, Phaedra is like the shade queen. Okay. So anyway, they recap the wedding and the lack of fabulosity therein. And of course, how Dr. Heavenly got cut from the wedding. And Quad is like, "Oh no, not your BFF cutting you out the wedding, Heavenly." Anyway, Quad lets Dr. Heavenly know that she didn't like seeing the photo of Dr. Heavenly and Sweet Tea. And Heavenly's like, "Well, I thought it was funny. And to be quite fair, I don't really feel like you gave a D. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you really care anyway about us? Because nobody had heard from you after the reunion." So Heavenly apologizes because she says she thought it was funny. So anyway, Quad wants to know, where is the support? Where is my support? Why is no one here for me? Curtis, you were supposed to love me. Wrong movie, wrong show. Anyway, Heavenly said Quad has been separated from the group and that Quad does not take any accountability, which seems to be a running theme amongst most of the ladies. We will talk about that more in a separate video. But for right now, we'll just slide on past it, right? But it's going to keep coming up. And finally, Dr. Heavenly and Quad, after kind of going up and down and through the mulberry bush a bit, kind of going back at it with each other for a bit, which I do like to see. I like to see on shows where two friends can be for a second and be real and have a moment and then immediately bounce right out of that. And Quad and Heavenly are very good for that. So it makes for great television watching. But they do finally get to a place where they somewhat can resolve their issues. And Quad says that she misses the rest of the girls too. We see Dr. Jackie gets a visit from the Brat and Judy. The Brat is in her pregnancy era and she is, doing too much. And Dr. Jackie advises that she slow down. I find that the more pivotal moment of this scene was really just hearing Dr. Jackie talk about the sort of inadequacies in healthcare as it relates to Black women in general and the treatment of Black women when they are trying to get, proper medical assistance. And it just really saddens me that we're still in this space where, the other, okay, will look at us as Black people and somehow deem that we are not worthy of the same level of care. And it just is so odd to me because some of these people will treat their pets better than another actual human being. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm a doggy dad too, so don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, when you really look at the historical context of how we've been treated in this country and to see that it still exists, it's just disappointing to me. You know what I mean? It's real disappointing. Anyway, Dr. Simone and Cecil are still going at it about these kids and how they parent differently. Dr. Cecil wants the kids, let them do what they're gonna do, let them mess up if they want to mess up, let them, dang, let's just keep paying for everything for them. And I was like, now wait a minute. You talking about y'all buying the boys a house or something like that, or some type of place to stay. And then you talking about, well, what if Miles can't afford to pay the rent? Then what you buying him a place for? Unless, listen, here's the thing, unless you are going to be just committing to footing the bill for what is now an adult, then I do feel like, I mean, that was a dumb question to me. And I know we're not really supposed to say that because it's not nice. And honestly, I will tell you, it is the end of my day. And so my brain is weary. And so something might slip out that might be slightly inappropriate. But I just felt like, bruv, why get him a house? Why expect him to pay anything? If you're saying, well, what if he can't pay his rent? Well, what if you don't get him a place? Okay, you might as well just let him keep staying with you if you think that the man can't. If you don't even have no faith that he could pay his rent, just let him keep staying with you. Per, as the people say. Meanwhile, Phaedra, I mean Elvira, is riding around like the Godfather with Bay. Okay, I mean the butler. Okay, excuse me. Uh, Butler was really looking more like Bay in this until Butler started getting out and delivering them invites. Trying to be mysterious and things. I don't know. Bay. Butler was giving Bay. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I mean, they look good together if they were. I mean, if that's new Bay, I don't know. I mean, the streets say she got a new doctor boyfriend or something like that. I don't know. We'll never know because it's Phaedra. She'll tell us what she want to tell us, and we'll just accept it and laugh. And so, anyway, but Butler was definitely giving Bay in the back of the car. Okay. And yeah, they delivered the invitations. Okay. The invitations, by the way, for those of you guys who did not see it, came in the form of a briefcase and then later a church fan when you open up the briefcase. Okay. Now, meanwhile, Toya is having a post-honeymoon in Dubai vitamin shots party for Sweet Tea and Dr. Simone. So apparently, we learned that Sweet Tea did not have relations for the first or at least 3 days while she was on her trip, on her honeymoon, because I guess she was on her cycle. Now, this is something that is a bit odd because Dr. Simone says she's having irregular cycles. So there is some concern about whether or not, Sweet Tea will be able to conceive, because of the troubles that she is having, which we have heard a little bit about before, but not as in depth as I think that maybe we will at some point. But prayers up for Sweet Tea, and hopefully those issues can be rectified or whatever. We do know that she is stressed. And then Sweet Tea somehow sees the invitation on the table that came from Phaedra. Now, Sweet Tea did not get an invitation from Phaedra to the resurrection party because I don't know. But she does wonder why. And Toya is like, well, why did I get an invitation to something that, she's having for Quad or whatever like that? She was like, I don't like Quad. Anyway, Toya is like, I want to go back to Dr. Jackie and get another O shot. And then Sweet Tea is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Simone is like, not you, girl. You too young. You should be dripping wet. I mean, you should be gushing like a waterfall. Don't go chasing waterfalls. You should be just running like a river, okay? Rolling on a river. Your stuff should be so wet. Everybody, I should be splashed down like Lateasha, like Kiki gave Lateasha on Love and Marriage Huntsville. We should all be splashed down. That's how dripping and soaking wet Sweet Tea should be. But anyway, Sweet Tea says, my stuff is like macaroni. It's like macaroni down there. And I said, I don't know much about algebra, but I did not know that the cooter is supposed to be like macaroni. Okay. Like the macaroni and cheese, I'm supposing. Don't add no crab up in there. You know what I'm saying? Because that wouldn't be good. But I mean, she says, I guess it's like that sweet, that gushy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming that she want him to go swimming in her sea of macaroni and cheese. I don't know. This is why I say, Sweet Tea, don't ever change, baby. Don't ever change. Okay? Because yes, I will go no further than that because that is, I don't want to know nothing else about those private parts. Okay? Now that I know it's like macaroni, I know what I'm missing, I guess. Okay. I do like macaroni and cheese, though. I like a little crust on top, but I would assume that down there, crust is bad. Okay. The crust is probably bad down there in reality. But I'm just telling you how I like my macaroni and cheese. Okay. So if anybody ever's offering me some macaroni and cheese, y'all just make sure you got a little crust on top. This conversation just went totally left. Anyway, Simone, the next time I see, and maybe I fast forwarded because I did fast forward the commercials. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching on the YouTube TV because I didn't watch it last night because I had an event to go to last night. So by the time I got home from the event, I was tired. Okay. So I went to bed. And so I had to watch the shows today. Okay. There's a lot going on today. Meanwhile, that's not y'all's problem. That's mine. Meanwhile, the next time I see Toya and Simone and T, okay, they are all riding together to the party, well, to the funeral home almost well in the heat of the night, okay. And so T don't know how she's gonna approach Heavenly. All she does know is she might want to swing on her or something like that. And I'm like, has Sweet T said this before? Because later Dr. Heavenly will reference Sweet T wanting to fight her, and I'm like, well, did Dr. Simone text that to Dr. Heavenly while they was in the van? Anyway, Dr. Alicia don't understand why everybody's always talking about Quad, but not to her. Very interesting observation, Dr. Alicia. Meanwhile, all the ladies arrive at the funeral home at 11 p.m., almost the stroke of midnight. T is like, don't hate me, girl, as Dr. Heavenly runs up to her and tries to give her the hugs and stuff like that. Once they get inside, though, Phaedra is escorted down the aisle, okay, like the bride of Frankenstein, but Elvira. Anyway, Phaedra says, thank you all for being here to the She Is Risen party. And I'm like, where is Sheree? Is she gonna pop up out the thing? Anyway, Sweet Tea says, no. Phaedra says to Sweet Tea, you, Sweet Tea, were not invited. Yeah, you. Yeah. But you know what? You have risen to. You're married now. We're in a room full of just, educated, accomplished women. I mean, we have Teeth in here. We have but JJ's in the room. We have a tennis expert here in Toya. I mean, that's all she's good for. That's what it was given in that moment right there. I was like, and everybody was ooh. And listen, Toya need to tell her, girl, I'm the Secretary of Leisure. Okay. I am the Lord of Leisure. That's what I call myself amongst my friends, right? I'm the Lord of Leisure. I don't really want to work. I don't really want to do nothing. I want to sit on a plane, preferably in business class, sipping on champagne, not the stuff that they give you here in the States, but when you're going overseas, the real stuff, okay? Because they be trying to trick you with the Wyclef and the Andre. And I don't do Andre or Wyclef in my champagne. No shade to Andre and Wyclef, but I don't know them, okay? I don't know them like Wendy don't know NECA, okay? Don't give me that. Either give me the Veuve, okay, or give me the Moe, but do not give me the Andre. I said it. Yeah. And now we said it. So anyway, as I stated earlier, once the day gets going on longer and longer, I tend to just fall off the rails just a tad bit. And so here we are at the rail is here and I'm over here somewhere, okay? I have gone from here to here. Somebody earlier today in my video said just rambling. And I started to type in the comments, yeah, pretty much. Okay. You would ramble too if you was talking all day. Anyway, I digress. Let me have my fun. Don't be typing stuff like that in the comment section like that, because I saw it, but I ignored it. How about that? Anyway, as so then, as Phaedra's giving the speech about the phoenix rising from the ashes, in marches the saxophone player, yes, followed by a casket and pallbearers. And so Dr. Heavenly is over there, fidgeting, rocking back and forth, like I know some stuff about to go down right now. Then the casket is pulled up to the pulpit, and then the casket is open and it says mother on the inside. So Phaedra comes down the stairs and she goes over and it looks like she placed a flower or something like that on the body, just like you would do at the viewing. I mean, Phaedra committed to this moment, but to me, I will never unsee Quiet popping up out of that coffin like a jack in the box. Okay. I could watch that on repeat. The way she popped up like and immediately went into her soliloquy. Some of you girls have gave me an early death sentence, but not today, for she has risen. Okay. Toya's like, is Mariah gonna pop up out of there next? Would that not have been something right there? Y'all missed the opportunity because if Mariah had popped up out the other end of that casket, I would have fallen over. I wouldn't be no more good. I would be done for the day. I would just, my spirit would just be lifted, and not the same spirits that they talking about over in Potomac, but I'm talking about, the soul leaving the body and then jumping right back in. Okay. So then Quad wants to bury the pettiness, the turmoil, and the strife. Will there be one? Jackie, are you ready? And Jackie's like, for what? No, I ain't got no strife over here. Heavenly, are you ready to bury the strife and the pettiness and the turmoil? Dr. Heavenly's like, I ain't got no problems with nobody. I don't know why you want to whip my butt, sweet tea. Who told you that, Dr. Heavenly? That's what I want to know. Somebody ask in the live, because I know somebody gonna ask. Anyway, and this is why I be trying to get my video out before Dr. Heavenly and Carlos go live, because I like to give y'all my reactions, okay, and then I like to go and watch everybody else. So, because obviously I can get more intel, but I want to give you the raw and real of what I was feeling in the moment, right, wrong, or indifferent. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, at that moment, T is like, you said my marriage was gonna fail. Dr. Heavenly said, I said I was concerned, girl. You were voicing similar complaints that Quad was having about Dr. G. I care. Now, I said what I said, and I stand on it. Prove me wrong. Now, I don't got no problem with Dr. Heavenly standing on what she said, because y'all know how I feel about that. If you on reality TV, I appreciate a person that stand on what they said, right, wrong, or indifferent. To me, that is the sign of a good reality TV personality. However, I feel like for when Dr. Heavenly said, prove me wrong, if I was Sweet Tea, I would be like, I'm a grown. I don't have to prove nothing to you. Like, so, because at the end of the day, yes, Dr. Heavenly can have her opinion, but does it matter? Like, I always feel like this. Unless I ask you for your opinion, and in which some of those instances, I feel like Sweet Tea did set herself up for the giving of the opinions, because she's sitting there having shots, taking them back, talking about, Dr. G said that the people was coming into the house to rob him. I'm like, yeah, somebody need to talk to you. Okay, somebody need to give you some type of opinion, because that ain't right. But anyway, so then they get into it. And so Toya is like, well, girl, why was you even at the wedding if you didn't feel like they was gonna last that long? And then Dr. Heaven is like, well, girl, you was talking about them too. You said that they were having communications issues. And Toya was like, I did say that they had a communication issue, because they did. But that didn't really mean that I meant for them to not get married. Okay. And so T is like, girl, you can't be talking to me about no communications issue. You told me that you wanted to hit your husband upside the head with a frying pan. I was like, tell us all the tea. Tell us all the tea. What else she say? What else she say? Did she hit him though? That's what I want. Because in my mind, I was like, we gonna address that or no? Did you hit him or no? And what did he do? Why he do that? What he do that makes you want to hit him upside the head with a frying pan? Anyway, that's what I'd be asking Dr. Heavenly if I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what'd he do? And did you really hit him? Meanwhile, at that point, the next thing you know, T and Heavenly are up cussing and fussing in the funeral home. Now, I don't know if it was cut that T called Dr. Heavenly a BI, because it seemed like Dr. Heavenly was reacting to the word BI. Like she said something like, B? What? You call me? Like, it almost sounded like she was like, you calling me a B? And that's when Dr. Heavenly stood up. So I don't know if that happened or not. Somebody tell me if y'all caught that. And I'm trying to figure out if because I felt like she was reacting to something else that T said that got cut. And I felt like it was the B word. But somebody else, y'all chime in the chat and let me know. The other thing, so the next thing that I know, Dr. Heaven is like, I'm gonna beat you like your mama should have. Okay, that's why you over there marrying a man 5 times your age, girl. So as soon as Sweet Tea get up, soon as she's sitting on down, I'm like, now T, y'all was just across the aisle. If you had wanted to reach out and touch somebody's hand, make this world a better place. if you can. If you really wanted to reach out and touch her, I'm sure you could have. Meanwhile, but I don't condone the violence. Anyway, we don't have time to deal with this because there's more issues to deal with. Quad tells T, I want us to stay on a good foot. T's like, okay, yeah, right, girl. Simone, we had a close relationship, and I would love to rekindle our relationship. Simone is like, well, do you consider us equals, or are you on an island by yourself? And Quad is like, I see us all as one. We are the world. We are the children. Next, Toya. We've got bigger issues. I'm willing to put the past behind us, Toya, if you are. And Toya's like, not on my watch. Okay. Not on my watch. No. Anyway, Phaedra was hoping that Quad was going to take this moment to humble herself and apologize. Not today. So anyway, it's time for the collards and the repast. Oh, there's a band downstairs too. Anyway, I was trying to figure out how Toya and Quad ended up sitting beside each other. Why? Who put them together? That's a dangerous position to put them, the two of them in. And we will see why in just a second. So anyway, Phaedra then gives a speech, okay, to mend the relationships in the room. And T begins by addressing Phaedra for bringing Quad to the bachelorette because she's like, that was not the place to meet my ex. And I'm like, yes, T, you are correct. Now I know some of y'all in the comments because y'all will always, but we already know that production told Phaedra to do that. I know all that. Actually, if it weren't for production, there would be no show. Okay, so we know, yes, but the mechanics of it are still that Phaedra did bring her. Is it right? No. Does it make for great TV? Yes. Okay. So does Sweet Tea have a right to be upset? Yes, because for the sake of the show and what we're discussing, let us at least suspend belief. Okay, let's not look behind the curtain for this one moment and acknowledge just what's playing out on the screen, right? And if it was just that, then yes, Sweet Tea has a right to be upset. But for those of you in the chat, we do know that Quad did her job and Phaedra did hers. I get that because I know I've seen the comments. But again, when I'm talking to you guys about this, I am talking from the perspective of A, what we see on the show, and then I will also acknowledge what we know to be the truth behind the scenes, right? Sometimes I'll acknowledge it, sometimes I won't. It just depends, right? It just depends. And I actually wish that Quad would not have said, well, I was just doing my job, because it just takes away the magic of the TV. It's like somebody saying, what Santa Claus who? You know your parents is the ones opening them gifts. Sorry, spoiler alert to anybody that's kids that's watching. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. Meanwhile, Phaedra's like, honestly, girl, I talked to your husband, not you. And I explained why I invited Quad, okay? And T is like, well, I don't have no issue with Quad. I have an issue with you, Phaedra, for bringing her. Anyway, Quad says, well, they said you have been asking about me and combing my social media, girl. And so Quad in her confessional then says, regardless of how country T is, and how she probably doesn't even fit into this group, we're good. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, Simone thinks that they need to all acknowledge that they've all hurt each other's feelings, and she wants to know if there's anything that Quad could say or do that would help Toya leave things in the past. And Toya says she wants Quad to stop being malicious to her and her family. Now, Phaedra then asks Quad if you could at least acknowledge something like, and Quad's looking like, well, do 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 do. I can't think of a thing that I did. And Toya's like, you said we was thieves, girl. And that I was cheating with somebody in the neighborhood. Like a common hussy. Okay. And so Quad is like, well, you said I was sleeping with the contractor. And my thought is this: the real show is whatever's going on down in Toya's neighborhood, because they make it sound like that's Knots Landing down there. Anyway, or Melrose Place. So anyway, producers, get down there and film a spinoff. Meanwhile, Toya feels like Quad likes to feel like people are beneath her. And Quad is like, well, we've all come from meager beginnings. Okay. We've all before that happened, Quad and Toya is doing the hand jive. You know what I'm saying? One is pointing in the face, and the other is like, "Don't you touch me, born to hand jive, baby." You know they doing the hand jive, and so I'm thinking to myself again, who set them beside each other? They are like at war. Like they are the two who have the biggest issues in the group, and I'm like, y'all gonna sit them beside each other? That's a good idea. Meanwhile, as Quad is saying that, they've all come from meager beginnings and worked their way to the top, Dr. Heavenly's like, well, except Sweet Tea. She ain't done nothing yet. Oh, poor T. Simone is like, okay, y'all, well, it's time for me to go. But we're going to have some more honest conversations about all this. And Quad is like, oh, yes, we are. Because I'm not done yet telling y'all how y'all made me feel. And Dr. Jackie is like, again? Oh. Oh, I ain't seen Dr. Jackie this activated since Buffy. Meanwhile, Dr. Heavenly doesn't feel like Quad made any progress with these ladies. Let me know in the chatterization. Do you feel like any progress was made with Quad after this funeral/resurrection service? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we will, of course, catch you in the next video.